Hello, welcome back to Shakil's physics classes. We continue from where we stopped. Today we are going to see Gauss's law and Coulomb's law. What I am trying to tell you here is, previous class we have derived Gauss's law, which is integral over the surface E vector dot n unit vector ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. Instead of using this unit vector, if we use area as itself as a vector, then this can also be written as E vector dot ds vector as q by epsilon naught. This is also possible. Now Coulomb's law can be deduced from Gauss's law. What do we need to do? To do that, let me take a point charge placed at some point O. So what I am going to do is, I am going to construct an arbitrarily closed surface in the form of a sphere like this. This is electric field. This is the radius of the surface, and this is a charge Q. The imaginary surface which I have constructed around this point charge, I call it as Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface. The imaginary surface which I have constructed around this point charge, I call it as Gaussian surface. The radius of this Gaussian surface, which is in the form of sphere, is R. Now, I can write E vector dot ds vector as E ds. You can ask me why. Whatever area I take, the area vector and electric field vector are parallel to each other. Theta is 0, cos 0 is 1. Therefore, it amounts to E ds. Now, epsilon naught integral the surface E vector dot ds vector is equal to epsilon naught integral the surface E ds is equal to q. I have taken small q as point charge. Now from this is equal to epsilon naught. As I said, electric field is a constant, because to apply Gauss's law, charge distribution must be uniform. When charge distribution is uniform, electric field is uniform, E is taken out. Surface area 4 pi r squared is equal to q. From this, E will be equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught r squared. This is the electric field at any point distance r due to this point charge. Now this can be expressed in vector form like this. E vector is equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught r squared into r unit vector. In order to derive Coulomb's law from this Gauss's law, I will put a test charge or a point charge q naught at a point where I know this electric field. The moment I place a point charge here, definitely it is going to experience a force. The force acting on q naught, I write F vector is equal to E vector into q naught. Therefore, I end up with an expression F vector is equal to Q epsilon naught square into r unit vector, which is precisely my Coulomb's law in electrostatics. In the equations of electromagnetic theory, in unit number 5, you will study Maxwell's equations. There are 4 equations. There, Gauss's law, del vector dot E vector is equal to rho by epsilon naught is there. But Coulomb's law is not there in Maxwell's equations or equations of electromagnetic theory. If you have not understood, in the list of Maxwell's equations, Coulomb's law is not there. Coulomb's law is not listed in Maxwell's equations or equations of electromagnetic theory because Coulomb's inverse square law can be deduced from Gauss's law. Since Gauss's law is already there in the electromagnetic equations, Coulomb's law has not been listed. As simple as that. Is that okay to you? Is that okay to you? If this is okay to you, I would like to go into the applications of Gauss's law. Let me rub this off. First application we would like to see here is electric field due to a uniformly charged sphere. In order to determine electric field intensity due to a uniformly charged sphere, first let us consider a charged sphere. Okay? Point O, where I have a charge Q, the radius of the sphere is R. This charge Q is not at point O, instead it is uniformly distributed throughout the sphere of radius R. Now, from this sphere, center of the sphere, at a distance R, let us say there is a point P, where you want to find out what is the value of electric field intensity? Step number 1. To find out electric field intensity at this point P, you have to first construct an imaginary surface sphere. I have constructed an imaginary surface such that it passes through the point P where I want to find out electric field intensity. I call this surface as Gaussian surface. I call this as Gaussian surface. In this, I take a small surface of area ds. Okay. I draw a unit vector n normal to the surface. Since this is positive charge, electric field is also pointing outwards. Now, First step I am going to do here is I am going to find out what is the flux to the small surface of area ds. Flux through area ds. d phi is equal to E vector dot n unit vector. This previous class we have discussed. Now if you look at the diagram, E vector and n unit vector are parallel to each other. Theta 0, cos 0 is 1, and therefore this expression d phi will become equal to A into d. Is that okay to you? Now we need to find out what is the total flux. Total electric flux coming out of this entire Gaussian surface. Phi E is equal to integral E ds. Okay? Because this I have simplified, I am directly writing it is from Gauss's law. I can write phi E is equal to Q by epsilon naught. Let me call this as equation number 1, this as equation number 2. Or I can even simplify this. This is differential form of Gauss's law. Previously, I have used this expression del vector dot E vector is equal to rho by epsilon naught as Gauss law. That time I told you in our next discussion we will definitely derive that. We have derived this. Del dot E vector is equal to rho by epsilon naught, which is Gauss's law in electrostatics, which is also one of the Maxwell's equations. Therefore, the question that will be asked here is state and prove Gauss's law in electrostatics. So let me again repeat the Gauss's law. Total flux passing through any closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the total charge enclosed within the closed surface. Now, let us keep this and rub the other things off to highlight what is the importance of this law. Okay? Here, in all the cases so far we have seen, we have calculated electric field due to a point charge. We have calculated electric field or electric potential due to a dipole. If there is a charge distribution, what I mean is, instead of isolated charges, if you have a charge distribution so close that it's not possible for you to add the electric field due to individual charges, such a situation is described as a continuous charge distribution. When you are asked to find out what is the electric field due to a continuous charge distribution, we cannot be using the previous methods which we have used for a monopole, single charge, or a dipole to determine electric field. In such cases, we have to use Gauss's law in electrostatics to determine electric field intensity. The point I would like to highlight here is Gauss's law is always true but not always useful. I repeat it. Gauss's law is always true but not always useful. expression y. Let me write this expression like this. Phi e is equal to integral over the surface e ds cos theta is equal to q by epsilon naught. This is also one and the same. Now, if you have an arbitrarily closed surface in which charge is distributed and you are asked to find out what is the electric field at a point P, distance r from this arbitrarily closed surface, we can use Gauss's law to determine the electric field intensity. The problem with this integral is this is an arbitrary closed surface. To get the area of the surface, ds has to be integrated. Only then you will get the area of the surface, which means ds is a variable. Charge, how is it located? We do not know. It just says there is a distribution of charge, which means electric field will not be the same. Therefore, it is not a constant, hence cannot be taken out of the integral sign. It becomes a variable. This is not a symmetric surface, which means angle theta subtended between electric field and the area vector, or electric field and the unit vector to the surface you take will not be same everywhere, which means cos theta is also a variable. You want to find electric field, the integration is for three variables E ds cos theta. So integrating this particular integral comprising of three variables, namely E ds cos theta, is a touch difficult. That is the reason why I said Gauss's law is always true, is not always useful. As I said, if I take this case, here Gauss law is not useful to me, because if I want to find out what is the electric field at this point P due to the charge distribution of this surface of an arbitrary shape, I cannot take E outside, I cannot take ds outside, I cannot take cos theta outside, because all the three are variables and it is an integral with three variables, and for me solving such an integral is difficult. Therefore, I now impose certain conditions which enable me to apply Gauss's law very easily and determine electric field intensity. What is that? To apply Gauss law and determine electric field intensity, first condition is surface must be symmetric. Second condition is charge distribution must be uniform. If these two conditions are fulfilled, what happens is solving this integral becomes easy, because if the surface is symmetric, three symmetries are allowed. Spherical symmetry, cylindrical symmetry, plane symmetry. Which means to apply Gauss law, My surface will either be charge distribution will be spherical in shape. My charge distribution will be cylindrical in shape, or my charge distribution will be a plane surface. I will be applying only these three cases. I will to determine electric field intensity using Gauss law. The idea is, if I take a symmetric surface, either spherical, either cylindrical or plane, the angle theta between electric field vector and unit vector anywhere on a symmetric surface will be same, which means cos theta can be taken out of the integral sign. If charge distribution is uniform, electric field can be taken out of the integral sign. Then what remains is ds is equal to q by epsilon naught, which means solving this integral for the area of the symmetric surface is very easy, and I will be easily able to arrive at electric field intensity due to a charge distribution using Gauss's law. So I will stop here. Time is up. Today I have seen you, I have taught you electric field intensity, energy stored in a uniformly charged spherical sphere. I have told you what electric flux is. I have given an expression for electric flux. Then I have taught you what solid angle is. Then I have proved Gauss's law, given its statement, and I have also told you that Gauss law is always true, not always useful. When is it useful? In order to make Gauss law useful, that these two conditions have to be fulfilled. And what are the symmetries used? These are those three symmetries used. We stop here. God willing, when we make the next class, we will try to apply this Gauss law to find out electric field intensity in different cases. So as to say, we will see a few applications of Gauss's law, and then we are left with deriving Coulomb's law from Gauss's law, and we have one more topic, Poisson's equations and Laplace's equations, and we finish these things, applications, deriving Gauss law and Coulomb's law from Gauss law, and Poisson's and Laplace's equation. That will bring us to the end of unit 1 of electricity and electromagnetism. So please go through these videos, make necessary notes for you so that it is helpful for you at the time of CIA 1 and end semester examination. So I stop here, continue in the next class. Until we meet next, goodbye.